Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Watching the Boxes, a fantasy basketball podcast, hosted by #basketball.com and my favorite daily fantasy site, draft.com, where if you go right now and sign up using the promo code BOXES, you will get a free entry to your first game. I'm your host, Mike Catron, and joining me as always is my co-host, Tyler Watts. What's up, Tyler?
Michael, you must defend yourself.
Gosh, already with this. Okay. What about what? I made some bad choices for lunch today. I understand.
The listeners are finally coming through for me. And you were on the verge of being eliminated from the playoffs in the listener league.
It was not a good week for me last week. This is the interesting week. A lot of head-to-head leagues are have a 2-week time frame due to the All-Star break that is coming up very shortly. One of my favorite weekends in all of the NBA season. And it's going to come down to the wire in this listener league. I'm proud of some of you listeners. Other listeners I'm not so proud of. I'm not going to name who. And Tyler, I don't know your team. I thought with all the injuries, you would be devastated, but you're 2.5 games up. And LeBron's hairline, Sloan Ranger, second and third. And I'm barely hanging. I'm only a game up on the fifth place guy. I'm still in fourth, but there's two guys, Buckets McGee and Licensed to Lillard, hanging out. And actually, Dexter and We the North aren't completely out of the playoff race, but it's getting tight.
Yeah, so there's 4 weeks after this 2-week period here. There's 4 weeks to go until the playoffs begin. Only 4 teams make it in this listener league, and Michael is holding on, just clutching to that 4th spot with all his might. But I don't know, Mike. I think they're going to take you out.
Yeah, I got to just start. I got to start winning every week. It's taking this seriously. I've been screwing around all season long, not trying at all, obviously, or else I'd be way in first. And I'm gonna have to give it my all for the stretch into the playoffs.
I think they've got you, Mike. I think your back's against the wall now, and I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Licensed to Lillard grabs that final playoff spot and takes me on in the first round of the playoffs.
You heard it here first, everybody. I think if Licensed to Lillard gets in the playoffs, he'll probably take you down in the first round.
Oh, no, I don't know about all that, Michael. I think you're hitting the
either way. If I make it or he makes it, you're going down in the first round.
I've been the top seed like all season long, mind you. I don't know that you guys can take me out that soon.
I'm not that impressed. It's going to be a tight one, so everybody stay tuned for that listener league. But right now, it's kind of a little bit of a fantasy basketball break. When the players go on All-Star break, so do we as fantasy players. And it's kind of it's a good time of year. I often try to go on vacation this time of year, and then my vacation usually goes too long, and then I come back and my team's dropped 5 places, and because I didn't pay any attention to it. And it's every February I completely blow whatever league I'm in, and this year I'm gonna have to strive to not make that same mistake.
It's happening, Mike. You're going on vacation next week. We all know this.
That is true. I will be in the beautiful state of Alaska, where I don't know what their views on fantasy basketball are up there, but we'll find out. And
well, like 10 people live in a town, so it's hard to get a league going.
Yeah, hopefully they got Wi-Fi. Like they
play in very shallow leagues up there, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're outside playing hockey or fighting bears. I don't know what's going on up there. Got to figure it out. It's gonna be cool. So yeah, we will be gone next week, but it is the All-Star break. And,
well, you will be gone. I may be back. You never know.
Might have a special podcast for the listeners out there after the All-Star break. But as is tradition, it is time for the Watching the Boxes Fantasy Basketball All-Star Awards, where we make up ridiculous categories and then fit people into those categories to award them for being fantasy all-stars. It's a time-honored tradition that we couldn't skip it this year, Tyler.
Well, we could skip it, but we chose not to.
I would actually say you couldn't skip it. I didn't choose to skip it. I chose to skip it. I couldn't do it.
I am excited about some of these categories, and like I mentioned to you earlier, I'm not excited about some other ones because I had a hard time finding anyone to put in them.
Yes, these are some of them are a little bit difficult, some of them are a little bit weird, and some of them have no right answer unless it's my answer. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's hit these fantasy all-star awards with everyone's favorite. And this is such a personal question, I feel. The most disappointing fantasy player this year.
I like how you always start off on a negative note. We can never start off something happy. We always have to start off on something bad.
Why ever start on anything good?
So I have 3 guys listed. All 3 of them are somewhat tied to an injury, but that's part of what makes them disappointing. And so if I have to narrow it down to just one, I'll say Miles Turner has been my most disappointing player so far.
I think that's pretty good.
I had high hopes for Miles, and he's just not cutting the mustard.
Yeah, he's a breakout candidate. He had like a pretty severe concussion, like right in week 1, maybe even game 1, was it?
I mean, early on, and just everything. I mean, he's only played 41 games, which we obviously wanted to see more than that.
And it's not really been like injury plagued.
That's what I mean. Like the minutes have gone down, and the production's gone down in almost every category. And I don't know. I just thought Miles would be so much better.
Yeah, it is really, really disappointing. I think it's a pretty good one. I think that actually might be a little bit better than the one I was thinking of. So I'm not gonna crap on anybody for being an injury. So like obviously Isaiah Thomas is very disappointing. He came back, he looked like crap. We don't know what the second half of the season is going to be like for him, but it wasn't great. Jay Crowder obviously had a decent year, but looks like a poo-poo platter all year long. And so there's a lot of guys out there, but I'm not going to blame injury, and I don't really care that Jay Crowder is worse than he was last year. I'm going to go with Brook Lopez.
Oh, now that's a good one. He was not one who made my list either. I'll tell you mine too after you're done with your Brook Lopez rant.
So, listen, Brook Lopez last season, 35th overall. He's been in the top 40 for years. He's been healthy, and I think what's most disappointing about this season is he is healthy. He's on a team. He finally got out of Brooklyn, and he's on a team that should be playing him 35 minutes a game, 33 minutes a game at least. And he's not doing any of those things. He decided to, even when he was playing more minutes, he decided to just jack threes, ignore rebounding, get 1 block a game this season instead of his usual close to 2. Man, it's he's not even shooting free throws well. Like something's up with him, and I really don't think he hit a wall. I think it's purely location. I think if he would have moved at the trade deadline, he might have ended up being somewhat of an ownable fantasy player. But chances are, you used a 4th round, 5th round, 6th round pick on this guy, and he's just been unreliable. The minutes, even the games played, like the minutes haven't even been reliable. It's not like he's going to get 17 minutes each night. And,
I mean,
it's sad, man. It's just sad.
He literally, if you look at, this isn't even per game. This is total season value. All right. He's played 48 games, which is a lot of games, a lot more than a lot of other people have played. And he is the 153rd ranked player if you punt turnovers according to Basketball Monster. So he's not even ownable in a standard league. And that's bad. That's been bad. It's been a bad year for Brook. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with confidence. He's just not getting the minutes, and that's affecting his play when he is getting the minutes.
Yeah, it's just not a good fit from there. And it's like I said, it's like I don't feel like it's mostly like he struggled. Like, I think he still got it if he was in the right situation. And I think it's purely situational, which makes it even more depressing because you can't really it's hard to give up on someone who at any time could suddenly completely come back and to be a top 50 player.
I am with you there. So
who are your other categories?
They were both arguably first-round picks.
Oh.
And neither one is looking very hot right now. The first of which you can probably guess, Mr. Kawhi Leonard, 325th in Basketball Monsters rankings, primarily only because he played 9 games, but this wasn't an Isaiah Thomas situation where we thought, oh, yeah, he could miss a couple months. He might not come back until January. I mean, all the reports were saying, oh, he's going to be ready for the regular season. He's going to be ready. And now, I mean, does he play at all the rest of the season? They keep saying he's going to, but there's potential that he doesn't.
Yeah, we don't even know. We don't even know what's going on there. It's really sad. And I stand by my statement. We talked about this in a previous podcast. I stand by my statement that I thought he's a top 8 player, especially in roto leagues, even better. And I thought everything at a Spurs camp was sounding, just precautionary. And they dropped the ball. It sounds like their medical staff dropped the ball. It sounds like Kawhi came back too early. It's been a mess, and it's probably important to start to pay a little bit more attention to guys who get injured who have no reports coming out on them.
Yes, and we talked about that before too. So my other guy, and this guy hasn't killed you, but it's John Wall.
Ooh.
He just can't make a shot. He can't make a free throw. I mean, sure, he's still getting you 19 points and 9 assists a game, but he's the 95th ranked player in that by Basketball Monster in total value, and I just never thought that would happen. I had him right near in the top 10 and to begin the season, and just 95th is actively hurting your team.
Yes, you can't have that guy on your team, and you can't waste that. You can't have him on your team, right? You can't win if you wasted a first round, second round pick on that guy.
Yeah, so those were my 3 most disappointing players because I think they've killed a lot of teams, right? Because I think Turner was a lot of times second, third round pick. John Wall and Kawhi Leonard were often first round picks, and all 3 guys have significantly hurt your team.
Let's go to the second award in the Fancy All-Star, the hashtag basketball sponsored, watching the boxes, All-Star Awards for this season show, which is the official name of the show. I'm going to have to write that down. I've already forgot it. The next award is for Best Streamer. So who has been your favorite, and this is kind of a hard one because if you kept him, it's not really a streamer. But who's your favorite? Who's your go-to streamer guy? Who's your favorite guy to bring in, stream, maybe won you a few weeks?
So this was probably more for early in the season, and it kind of ties into one of my most disappointing players. It's Kyle Anderson. I feel like Kyle Anderson won me a lot of weeks early in the season. People kept thinking Kawhi Leonard was going to come back, and so I could cut Kyle Anderson and then pick Kyle Anderson back up when the Spurs played. And I feel like Kyle Anderson has been real good this season, despite him, most people figuring he would be in line for a 20-minute per game role.
Yeah. I'm surprised he isn't living up to that right now, but that's a pretty good one.
He is 77th in Basketball Monsters total season rankings in 27.4 minutes.
Is that true?
He's been a pretty darn good streamer. And imagine if you could only pick him up and drop him in the games he plays, right? You're going to get the value of somebody else along with that spot. So that makes it for a very valuable spot if you can keep streaming him, which it's a little more difficult now because a lot of people are kind of all out on Kawhi Leonard coming back.
That's true. I had a few actually. I like a bunch of guys. I think in my shallower leagues, like Joe Ingles has been people who are not in the know.
Oh man,
Joe Ingles has been great. Like Joe Ingles should be owned.
I write about that every week. He's like 38% owned in ESPN leagues, and I write about it every week.
Right now, he's hotter than ever. And so he now he's not under the radar anymore, which is it's harder to get to stream him. But I think this guy has been my most consistent streamer. He's always available. He always comes in, and almost always puts a pretty good performance in whenever I need it. It's nothing special. But he does hit threes. He gets more points than someone off the waiver wire. Etuan Moore.
Oh, good call.
He's had a very quiet yet good year.
83rd ranked.
Yeah. I think you could probably pull 9 out of 10, like even borderline fantasy players, let alone fantasy experts. Put them all in a room. 9 out of 10 of them would be like, is Etuan Moore in the top 100? And I don't think you would get a majority of the people to say yes.
Oh, I'm with you there. I thought you were going to name a different player, though. I was dead set you were going to name a Bull.
Oh, no, because I have not. Well, that's not true. I have been streaming Jerry and Grant quite a bit. And that's only because Dunn has been hurt.
This player is actually ranked ahead of Etuan Moore if you take turnovers out of the equation. If you do an 8-category league, he is ranked 74th on the season. It is Mr. Justin Holiday.
Yeah. He has had another pretty surprising year. And actually a pretty quiet year because nothing he does is super sexy.
That's what I mean. And I've been able to stream him a ton just in the sense I don't think anyone watches the Bulls unless you live in Chicago. I don't think anyone cares about the Bulls, and he's been helping me a lot this year.
Yeah, and let's go a step further, right? If you are punting field goal and you're punting turnovers, Justin Holiday is a top 70 player.
Yeah, he gets real sexy in certain leagues, man. He's been real good. Surprisingly, too, because everybody keeps saying, oh, there's no way he can keep doing this, and he just keeps doing it.
Yep, half a block, one steal. These are all like mediocre, but they don't hurt you at all. Like 13 points. Okay.
I write about this every week when I talk about streaming players. Like, some players are real good in one category, right? So it's easy to target that player and just say, oh, I need a rebounds boost. I'm going to grab Tyson Chandler. He gets like 9 rebounds a game. If I know Tyson Chandler's playing, that's great. But then you got guys like Justin Holiday who just helps you a little bit everywhere. And that goes a long way in winning a week.
It does. It chips away at every category, every single category, which helps. It helps. You get an extra 3 games, and they're all from Justin Holiday, or at least 2 of them. You're getting 26 points, like 5 threes. Like the 5 threes can make a difference.
Yeah, 9 rebounds, like 5 assists. You know what I mean? Like just a little bit everywhere. Just those body shots, man.
You got to wear them out, and no wonder you're in the top of this league. You're finding all the good streamers. Let's go on to the flip side of this. The worst streamer. Who's the guy you're like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick him up, and he gets on the team, and then you look at the box score then later that night, and he's just shit all over the court. Just there's no numbers under his stats, just the poop emoji is across the entire board. Who's your least favorite streamer?
I've had 2 guys that I swear they kill me every time I stream them this year. They're Terry Rozier and Alan Crabb. Both guys have actually been I've actually been top 115 players in 8 category leagues this year, but it seems like every time I stream them, they just get nothing, man. I get like 2 points and an assist and nothing else.
That's brutal. Yeah, some of this stuff is just like, oh, I picked him up and he had an amazing game last game. I better, I'm gonna stream that dude. And then you stream him, and for some reason he's kryptonite. He's you just don't get anything from that guy.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And it's weird too, and a lot of it has to do with small sample sizes, right? Is sometimes you just get burned.
Yep, that is true. I'm real just livid with CJ Miles.
Oh man, another guy who's killed me in the past.
CJ Miles, I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you sucking. I'm tired of you hitting 6 threes when you're on the waivers. I'm gonna pick you up and you hit 0, or probably just 1. I don't think he's ever hit 0 threes if he's played a decent amount of minutes. But I'm real tired of CJ Miles. Just like, I've had enough. I gotta get rid of this guy. I gotta stop picking him up whenever I need threes. It doesn't work. It never works.
And I always feel like those are the guys who you know what I mean? They just irk you too, because you like, I could pick up CJ Miles today. No, he's killed me. And then you look at the box score the next night and CJ Miles just went off for 20 points and 5 3-pointers. And you're like, damn it, CJ Miles, every time.
It doesn't fail, especially for me. It does not fail at all. Let's especially he's gonna play Chicago. Oh man, that's gonna be an easy target. Chicago sucks. 4 points, 1 3-pointer, 2 rebounds. Thanks, appreciate it. Where was that 24-point game you had against Charlotte? What a dick. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead. The next award in the All-Star Fantasy Awards. Biggest surprise. This is a very ambiguous question. Award. Biggest surprise. This could go any direction. I feel like the judges want to take it.
The biggest surprise. There's been a lot of big surprises this year.
I really have.
But I'd have to say that the biggest surprise for me is Lou Williams.
Wow. You took it right out of my mouth.
Now, good old Lou's been fantasy relevant for a long time on kind of the back end, but in 8 category leagues, total season value, he's the 16th ranked player. I mean, can you believe that? Because I still have to look at it once in a while and go, is that true? Did Basketball Monster mess these numbers up? Or
he's out of his mind. He's playing legitimately out of his mind.
Yeah, and just hitting every shot and getting assists and stealing the ball, and man, he's just been real good this year. So yeah, that'd have to be my biggest surprise. I do have 2 other ones if you need a small boost.
Yeah, go ahead with it. You might have taken my other. I had some secondary ones. Lou Williams, I think, was my most surprising. But by the way, the consensus award for most surprising player.
My second biggest surprise would have to be Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Donovan Mitchell is the 35th ranked player in 8 category leagues for the season. I don't think anybody saw that coming, right? I think Donovan Mitchell was not even picked in some leagues, especially at the beginning of the year. You know, we didn't really know how many minutes he was going to play and what his role was going to be. And so to be 35th, I mean, as a rookie, that's a hell of a performance. And a big surprise.
Yeah, I have some minor surprises. That's a good one too. I think that's probably a runner-up. I actually didn't even think Donovan Mitchell. I think some minor surprises though. Andre Drummond. I wasn't really expecting this kind of resurgence from Andre Drummond. I'd kind of given up on old Andre, and we know, everybody kind of knows Andre Drummond is Andre Drummond, right? But he had never really put it together. And that last season in Detroit, nobody looked good. I don't think anyone liked playing. Everybody was kind of injured, and it was just like, oh man, I think Andre Drummond might be washed. And He's a top 20 player, even with his trash free throw, which is significantly. And by the way, let's once again, we talked about this almost right when the season started. Andre Drummond's hitting free throws. What's going on here? Is he an 80% shooter? Blah blah blah. And we went through the ringer there, but I forget what we put on the board. I think it might have been 70, which he is below 70%. But Andre Drummond shot 38% last year. He is shooting 62.5% from the free throw line. That might be the biggest, legitimately good sample sized jump in, I don't know, in anyone's career.
Yeah, I mean, especially when we're talking about 5 attempts a game. It's an amazing turnaround.
And that's made him into even someone Roto players can use and enjoy.
He just keeps sucking the value out of it.
I'm also really impressed. And let me make sure this doesn't fall into a different category. No, it does not. I didn't think Oladipo would be this good. I thought he would be good. I thought he would be a breakout candidate. I thought he was a guy to buy low on, to draft, to reach for in your draft. And he didn't just hit. He's a top 10 player.
Yeah, that's another good one. I'll mention one more, Darren Collison. Kind of written off the last few years in Sacramento. Went to Indiana. A lot of times picked outside the top 100. He's the 43rd ranked player so far this season. That's been a pretty big surprise.
Ooh, I'm gonna walk back to the previous award. I just want to give a shout out to Domantas Sabonis for never performing when I pick him up. One of the worst streamers. Screw you, Domantas Sabonis. I just saw his dumb name. Respect though to his dad. Those are pretty good surprises. Any other surprises you had? That's runner up.
That's all my surprises.
All right. This is one of my favorite awards, the Fantasy Tramp. This award goes to the player who has been picked up and dropped by almost every team, if not every team in the league, multiple times. He's really gotten around. He is the fantasy tramp of the season. And this one was kind of hard for me. But Tyler, who do you have as the fantasy tramp of the year?
Oh, now this one might come as a bit of a surprise to you, Michael, but I put down Kelly Oubre Jr.
Oh, I like that pick.
I feel like Oubre is on the fringe of the top 100 this year, but it always seemed like, okay, John Wall was out this game. Okay, I picked him up. Okay, I'm going to drop him now. You know what I mean? Like the Wizards have just had the kind of right amount of injuries. Otto Porter's missed a few games. And I feel like Oubre always gets picked up and dropped. And he's also just doesn't provide that stat line that makes you like get super excited. But it's just good enough across the board that he pretty much owned for every game the Wizards play. It's just not always by the same team.
I like that. I like that one. He's kind of been someone who you think is going to be like, oh man, he's got some potential. He could be a good fantasy player, and then just doesn't figure it out and falls off, goes right back down. That's a good one. I like that one.
All right, who do you got? Who's your tramp?
All right. There was a lot of worthy tramps out there. Greg Monroe, he's a real tramp. Terry Rozier, just due to the injuries, but those are circumstantial tramps. You know what I mean? They got picked up and dropped for real reasons. Marcin Gortat is a runner-up in my book because he's got the name value, right? But he's been also trash.
Is that like Tater Tots, brother?
Yes, I think it is. But I actually went with Willie Cauley-Stein. I have seen him picked up and dropped so many times, including by myself. I've definitely owned him, got sick of him, owned him again, got sick of him, over and over and over. And he's got that potential, and it just seems like every 3 games or so he just falls off or doesn't play.
That's the problem, right? Is it's more of a Dave Yeager thing than a Willie Cauley-Stein thing. Is Yeager just can't. He plays Cauley-Stein for 32 minutes a night, and then he has to give him the game where he plays the proverbial 22.
There's no reason. There's just no reason for him to do it.
Well, no, Zach Randolph needs 40 minutes in that game. I mean, don't you know that 36-year-old guy's helping the Kings?
Yeah. Actually, I mean, Zach Randolph did have a really nice game the other day. Was that last night?
Randolph can still play. Don't get me wrong, but it's doing the Kings no good because, okay, so he gets you a win tonight. That's actually hurting you too because you have the chance to get the number 1 pick if you lose, not win.
I wish they would figure it out there. I wish someone would actually be an adult in the damn room and say, "Oh, we need to be the worst team in the league right now, and we need to know if Scott Lavoisier is an asset. We need to know if Willie Cauley-Stein is worth building around because there's some centers we could pick up in this next draft because we definitely suck." I'm not sure. Actually, I've seen Buddy Hield picked up and dropped in a lot of leagues. Maybe we should just give the award to the entire Kings roster.
They made a trade that summed up what's wrong with the Kings. They had Malachi Richardson, who I still don't think we know what Malachi Richardson is or was. I mean, they never really played him. Okay, and they refused to play him. They would play guys like Vince Carter and Garrett Temple over him this year, which made no sense to me. Okay, then they trade him for Bruno Caboclo, who has never done anything ever. It's like, why would you trade a younger small forward for a guy who's older and also never done anything? I mean, it's like you never even gave the guy the chance. And I think that's their problem is like they're always just looking for a shiny new toy and they're never really looking to be good and get the franchise going in the right direction.
No, it's always, every year, sad state of affairs in Sacramento. I don't want them to lose their team. The Kings have at least a mid to late '90s history that I truly enjoyed growing up. I don't want them to lose their team. I'd rather see the league expand. But they're at risk. They're real bad. They're real terrible.
That arena is gonna save them. I mean, they're actually like 15th in NBA team value because of that new arena.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, the Forbes just released it. I think they were they would have been 16th or 17th. But that Golden One Center is a really nice arena, and it's obviously, I mean, it's only the second year playing in it. So,
and I did catch the Forbes franchise list, and I just want to throw it out there. Just want to mention it that the Boston Celtics, when they're basically title contenders, are worth less than the bottom of the barrel Chicago Bulls. Just saying it. It was on the list. It's just true. It's just true. And that's all I need to know. So, up yours, Boston.
All right. I'm going to flip it back on you. I'm going to let you go first for the second half of these awards. All right.
I don't like that, Tyler.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the next category?
No, I'm not. But go ahead.
It is the best waiver wire pickup.
Ooh, that's a good award. Who was like, oh man, this dude was a must grab, and he's carrying my damn team. I think earlier in the year, right? Everyone kind of thought. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was day one that when Jason Tatum kind of went off in that first game, and everybody's like, "Oh, that was the dude. That was the guy who needed to be picked up." But he hasn't really. He's been good, but right, but he hasn't been. I wouldn't call him the waiver wire pickup of the year by any means. I know there's been a lot of injuries. Oh man, this is a kind of a tough one. Let's see.
Oh, you want me to go first?
You
I've
go
got
first. You go first because I had trouble. I had trouble with this one. I
um
really did.
so Donovan Mitchell, I already mentioned him. I think he was probably the one. I
Yeah.
think he was available on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues, and we mentioned already he was the 35th ranked player for the season. The 39th ranked player for the season was available well into the season, and that's Josh Richardson.
Oh.
And Josh Richardson doesn't do anything super spectacular. He's another one of those guys who's just real good across the board, an Otto Porter type. And so he was definitely my second non-Donovan Mitchell choice. And then I got two more if you really want them. It's one guy you already mentioned. Joe Ingles is the 44th, and Kent Bazemore is the 40th ranked player. I feel like all those guys were available on the waiver wires at points.
Oh yeah, they definitely were. I do have one. This guy was available, I think, on a lot of waiver wires. I think some of the obviously bigger leagues, a little bit more savvier leagues, probably picked him up in the draft. Chris Dunn.
Yeah.
Chris Dunn, I don't think got drafted in every league, every standard league. Probably a lot of standard leagues overlooked him. They didn't know if Jerry Grant was playing. Chris Dunn wasn't going to play at the beginning of the season, and he's been excellent.
I'll throw out one more guy. The 56th ranked player for the season, Spencer Dinwiddie, was available.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
No one even really thought he was going to play, right, until they got the injuries to Jeremy Lin and D'Angelo Russell, and he found himself a spot.
Yeah, he was circumstantial, right? But has probably swung multiple teams into contention simply by some of the stats he's been put up. And I've been pretty impressed with him this year. Good for him.
All right, now
get paid.
Time to put the hammer down. Good stats on a bad team award. There's lots of options here.
There are lots of options, and I got one. And I'm gonna go with not the consensus pick. Maybe not a pick people are even thinking about. I'm gonna go with Dennis Schroeder. I don't think Dennis Schroeder is good. I said it. I don't think Dennis Schroeder is good. The dude's averaging almost 20 points a game, 6 assists, but he doesn't get a steal. He shoots like a terrible percentage. He doesn't hit threes. I think those are good stats for Dennis Schroeder. And he's only doing that because he's on the Atlanta Hawks.
I can get behind that.
Who do you got? I think there's an obvious pick here, but I wanted to avoid him because I think he's actually a good player, and I think he could get those stats on a good team.
I've got a few. First one I'll mention, Enes Kanter.
Ooh, that's a great one.
36th ranked in 8 category leagues for the season. 14 points, over 10 rebounds.
That might have been a waiver wire nominee as well.
I feel like Enes Kanter was getting picked late in most drafts, and that was why I kind of stayed away from him on the waiver wire. But Enes Kanter's been great, and we talked about that as soon as he got moved to New York, right? We said that in Mark's rankings, he was like a top 50 player, and we thought a lot of people were sleeping on him, and that's turned out to be the case.
Turns out he's better than top 50 player.
The other two I'll mention, Kent Bazemore. I already mentioned he's the 40th ranked player. He's getting a lot of sexy stats, including 1.6 steals a game on the Hawks.
He's still not good.
Yeah, no, I don't know that he's ever been good, but this is the 3rd or 4th year he's been fantasy relevant in his career. So, there's another guy. Tyreek Evans.
That's probably the winner. I actually thought you were going to go with Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is good no matter what team he's on. That's why I was avoiding him. But Tyreek Evans, I think, is the winner.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I avoided Devin Booker too. Tyreek Evans has been great this year, and I don't think many people saw it coming. I think we knew he could get stats if he stayed healthy and got minutes, but that's been a big problem the last few years. But he's done it this year.
Yeah, I will not say it. Lowry Marketing, you could put it in there, but you're wrong. He's that good in real life, not just because the Bulls are bad.
Oh, I'm with you there.
Yeah, there were quite a few. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is not that bad either.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is all right. He's fine. All right. Best rookie performer of the year, Mike. Who's it been? Who's been the best
rookie performer of the year? I mean, it's Donovan Mitchell. I mean,
is it though?
Well, okay, it's okay. Are we counting Ben Simmons as a rookie? Because I know he's in the rookie of the year race. I understand it's his first year he's actually played. Are we counting Ben Simmons? Because if we are,
I mean, I guess. But I think it's surprising to some people how neck and neck those two really are. I mean, they're the 31st and 35th ranked players on the season.
Yeah, and that's incredible. And that's super incredibly rare for rookies. We rarely get rookies. And so, like, Karl-Anthony Towns, he was a fluke, right? Anthony Davis was a fluke. There's a couple flukes over the last few years, but usually rookies are not that good.
Yeah, no, and I mean, is there another rookie in the top 100? I don't think there is.
Larry Marketing, is in the top 100. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 67th. Okay, my bad. I missed it. And I missed John Collins, number 80.
Johnny Collins, who per minute is going to be great, and just doesn't seem to doesn't seem to get the consistent playing time right now. I think that will take care of itself by the end of the year. I know people were hyped on Kyle Kuzma, and Kyle Kuzma is a decent fantasy player. Jason Tatum, I think
all the way down to 93rd though. Kuzma slipping out of the top 100 fast.
Yeah. And I think Jason Tatum, the kind of one of my earlier perhaps waiver wire pickup.
He's I think top 50 still.
Yeah. There's a lot of good rookies this year.
Yeah, a surprising amount, I would say. And it's not the big names we thought, right? We thought it would be Fultz and Ball, and I mean, both of them are well outside.
And one can't shoot, and the other can't shoot, so it's not going well for either one of those dudes.
Yeah, Ball's 138th, and Fultz is yet to score.
Yeah, a lot of those rookie rankings were way off. Very far off.
All right.
That was a good one.
Are we ready for the best deep league pickup of the season?
I'm not ready because I want to give one more shout out. We're doing awards. We got to give awards out. I'm going to make up my own award for this guy. Best player, best oldest player in the world playing basketball, best 30-year-old, 39-year-old, 40-year-old playing in the game.
Vince Carter?
Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki is standard league relevant. Again, somehow, right now, standard league relevant right now.
In 0 minutes per game, it seems like.
Yeah, it's like, what did he play tonight? Oh yeah, no, he played 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Oh yeah, he just did Dirk things, hit some threes, scored some points, got some rebounds, shot good percentages, didn't turn the ball over. Just Dirking it up throughout the season, all year. That honestly, it's good to be hard pressed. There's a lot of fantasy historians. There's no fantasy historians. I take that back. If you go look at,
I'd be the first. That's the question.
I know I would love to be that fantasy historian. If you go back and look at certain players in fantasy, Tim Duncan was good for 20 freaking years in fantasy. KG was good for an incredibly long time. Dirk Nowitzki should also be said in the same time of that in that list. He should be mentioned with those players.
I'm pretty sure those were all words, but it was not a good sentence, Michael.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I couldn't get a good award name for this one. I just wanted to respect Dirk. He's had an amazing season.
I will second that motion.
All right, let's get to the final award of the night. Oh no, it's not the final award, but let's get to the next to last award of the night.
All right, the best deep league pickup. Who do you got? Who's been a good deep league pickup this year?
Oh man, this is a tough one. There's been
I've
a
got
lot.
I've got 3.
I think there's been a lot of in how deep of a league? How deep of a league are we talking here?
Well, I'd like to say about the man who I think is performing the best in the fewest amount of minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this man is getting 13 minutes a game on average. 13.6 to be exact.
Wow.
And he is the 112th ranked player.
Wow.
Any guesses
That
on
can't
who
be
this
real.
man is?
Kyle O'Quinn?
No, sir. He is getting more minutes than that. He's getting 16.7 minutes a game.
Wow.
And he is the 107th ranked player.
Okay. I don't know who it could be. I really don't.
This is one Mr. David West for the Golden State Warriors.
Whoa. I don't believe it.
7.1 points
What?
a game, 3.5 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 0.7 steals, 1.2 blocks, 61% from the field, and 73% from the free throw line. Makes him the 112th ranked player in 13.6 minutes.
Wow. I'm impressed. Good for him.
That to me is the best deep league pickup of the season so far.
That is super. That is a super, super deep pick. I would throw out there some runners up, perhaps. I think we'll probably have to. I don't think I could beat that, but Karis LeVert. I think people were kind of on him, but I don't think he was. He's definitely not a standard league relevant type of guy. He's playing pretty well, and I just had him. Where is that little jerk? Where's that guy?
I'll throw out a couple.
Trey Lyles. There it is.
There
Trey Lyles probably got picked up late rounds in deeper leagues, and has really panned out. Now, granted, that was due to Paul Millsap's injury, but still incredibly good value for where he was probably drafted.
I'll throw out just a couple more. JJ Barea, 122nd ranked player for the season.
Always underrated every year.
Yep, and I think a lot of people sleep on him, and he often, a lot of times, even in like 14-team leagues, no one even picks him. It's crazy. And this one maybe hasn't been that good yet, but looks like he's going to be good for the rest of the season. DJ Augustine.
Ah, yeah. He will be good for the rest of the season. All very good ones.
All right, so this is a late breaking category, and this is my favorite one. I'm not going to lie to you, Mike. It is the biggest surprise performer in the post All-Star break section.
Biggest surprise performer.
So we're gonna. I don't want the big name. Okay, like we're gonna throw out all the stats we've seen so far. Okay, and we're gonna say we're not saying who's the best player, right? I don't want to hear LeBron or James Harden or whatever, right? I want the biggest surprise. So the biggest Victor Oladipo, right? The Victor Oladipo of the second half, the Lou Williams of the second half here, the Donovan Mitchell, the Darren Collison, that type of player.
Well, I was about ready to crown Ricky Rubio until he got injured. He's been a disappointment this year, so another nominee for most disappointing. But he was coming on pretty strong there over the last few weeks, and this injury has derailed him. I'm hoping the All-Star break gets him back. I think he's a nominee for this. I don't think he's the winner. Let's see. I think it's a little too cheap to go with John Collins. There's a chance John Collins just blows up, right? But everybody's been sitting on that all year. That's not really a surprise.
Right, him and Dwayne Dedmon, I don't think, unless they're like top 10 players, I don't think you can count either one of them because I always feel like there's a lot of hype around those two, even though they're not getting that many minutes.
That's true. You got Elfrid Payton now in Phoenix. You don't know what's going to happen there. He's been able to turn it on every once in a while. Aaron Gordon really fell from grace. He could completely turn it around. I'm pretty torn here. I think those are some decent nominees.
All right.
Who are you looking at? Who are you thinking?
So you ready to hear my list?
Sure.
I've got some surprise ones and some not surprise ones. Dennis Smith Jr. Been the 154th ranked player. Okay. Pre-All-Star break. I say he's a top 75 player post-All-Star break.
That's aggressive.
Okay. He's getting the minutes. He's shot poorly so far, but I think he's slowly kind of fallen into the hang of things here. And I think he could take a big leap in this post All-Star break period. That's my number one.
Not the worst take.
Okay. My number two, Austin Rivers.
Boo.
Now hear me out here.
Screw Austin Rivers.
He's the 208th ranked player.
That
Okay.
sucks.
What's going to save Austin Rivers is his daddy's going to give him a lot of minutes. And he is scoring 15 and a half points a game so far this season. He's getting a steal a game so far this season. Okay. I think that the Clippers are just going to play him a ton of minutes. He's going to take a little bit more of a ball handling role. And I think we could see Austin Rivers be a top 100 player post All-Star.
Oh, screw that guy.
You don't like that one? I think that's.
I just don't like Austin Rivers. I think it's a good call. He's going to play a lot. There's nothing really going on that team. Danilo Gallinari's coming back. He could always take that leap. He could always be a really good second half type of player to pick up. But people know that, right? I'm not against your pick in Austin Rivers. I think it's a good take. Just screw that guy.
My next pick maybe it won't be a huge surprise, but I think he's going to have a good second half. It's Michael Beasley. I think they're just going to rely on him to score so much in New York with not a lot else there. That he was the 128th ranked player in 20 minutes a game.
When I saw this question, that's who I was thinking of, and completely slipped my mind. Oh, Mike Bees. So that's a really good one. I
think he's going to be good. And this is my shot in the dark, and I mentioned this player a few times before. He's due back on February 28th. Okay, he hasn't played a ton, but I think the Magic are going to be committed to giving him some good run down the stretch here, and I think he could be a big surprise. It's Mr. Jonathan Isaac.
I like that. I like that one a lot. That's got potential. And as we've seen, Josh Jackson has been playing in Phoenix, and he's been playing pretty well as well. And both him, Isaac, and Josh Jackson both had that similar kind of across the board type of game. I'm a little bit surprised Josh Jackson has played as well as he has lately. We might be able to see the same kind of leap from Isaac.
I'm with you there.
I like that thought. That's a pretty good one.
So you got any more?
No, I think you really covered. I mean, there's always the potential for certain players. I don't believe in these players, right? There's always a potential for certain players. Jusuf Nurkic could figure it out. I don't think he's going to. He could figure it out though.
He was on my early list of disappointments. I crossed him out.
He has definitely been a disappointment.
He's been pretty bad.
You could Jared Allen. Jared Allen is potentially a kind of a John Collins-esque type hyped player who could just get the brunt of the minutes going down the stretch because there's no real reason for Brooklyn to do anything.
What's he there?
Other than that, I'm not sure there's we're missing too many people.
And I'll say this, and I think we say this every time we talk about this award, is there's always someone who's on nobody's radar.
Yeah.
Who, because of injuries or just a team deciding to full out tank, they start giving a player that no one's really thinking about like 30 minutes a night, and he becomes fantasy relevant for a stretch of games, whether that be 2 weeks, a month, the whole post All-Star break period. So you always got to keep your eyes open.
That's 100% true. You just never know. Jonathan Simmons might come out of nowhere. I doubt it, right? But it's possible.
Well, and I mean, I think with a lot of these rookies, right? Like, say the Clippers go full tank mode and they start playing Jawan Evans 30 minutes a game. Well, any point guard playing 30 minutes a game is probably standardly relevant. I'm not saying that's likely to happen, but it could.
Yeah, it definitely could. Dennis Schroeder is questionable with the back. Maybe he goes out, and who's going to be running point in Atlanta? What's going to happen there? So these, especially with injuries, right? Injuries happen. That's always a good sign for fantasy players looking to get value out of their waiver wire. But you're right, 100% chance that someone who we didn't even mention is going to come out of nowhere and be very relevant down the stretch.
I guess that's my promo to keep listening. Just keep listening.
Thomas Saransky, meh. He came out of nowhere. He's obviously going to go back to nowhere once John Wall is back, but that's an incredibly good example. He's worth streaming. He's worth probably owning.
I'm still hoping it's Mangog Mathong. Still hoping he's the one.
That is not a person.
Played 3 games for Charlotte so far this season.
It's not a person.
Currently in the G League. I'm still hoping he's the man who takes the breakout.
I'm actually going to put all my money on Cameron Payne, point guard of the future. He's been called up.
Dance move specialist of the future, I think you mean.
Yeah. Point guard of the number one, like easily the best point guard in like 1954.
I thought you were going to say point guard of the future for the Windy City Bulls.
I don't know if he can make that team.
Oh, now, come on.
He's pretty bad. Every time they send Cristiano Felicio down there, he like destroys that team. I saw a line, Cameron Payne had like a regular, like a pretty good line, like 16-6 or something like that. Every time Cristiano Felicio goes down there, he's like 21-17 and he's murdering people.
It's insane to compare the stats, right? Like you'll see a rookie or a player who doesn't play much on a team go down there and you're like, oh, he had 13 points and 5 rebounds, like a decent stat line in an NBA game. And you're like, oh man, he did pretty well. And then you look at like some of the other stat lines in the game and like some of them are just insane. Like you're mentioning like, ooh, this big man had 25 points and 20 rebounds. And you're going like, holy crap.
And also like, Cristiano Felicio is a solid pick and roll, good feet, good hands center who is at the end of a bench on an NBA team. And he goes down to the G League and eats people for lunch. Like, that's the giant difference in talent, which it doesn't seem like there would be that large of a difference in talent, but like, and the G League players are all like the best basketball players you've ever seen outside the NBA. Like they all could play in Europe probably.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, a lot of the players have been professionals in Europe.
Yeah,
at some stretch in their career and been successful players over there.
Yeah, some of them have actually pretty good track records over there. I actually wanted to give a late breaking change. Turns out one of the awards we awarded tonight, mistakenly, we picked up the card from a wrong award, wrong winner. I have to apologize to the winner of the biggest surprise this season because the biggest surprise goes to Emeka Okafor is in the league.
That's true.
Emeka Okafor played an NBA game, multiple NBA games this season. So
he was pretty good in the a few of them too.
Not bad. Respect to Emeka Okafor for making a comeback, coming back in the league, and maybe getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen Emeka Okafor. I mean, right? It's been like 5 years since Emeka Okafor has actually played.
I could probably name at least 10 people I thought would come back to the NBA before Emeka Okafor, and so good for him.
Yeah, he's literally not played a game in the last 4 seasons.
Who got paid more this year, Emeka Okafor or Gilbert Arenas?
Okafor.
Is that Gilbert Arenas' contract over?
No.
I think it was Gilbert Arenas, my friend.
I don't think it is. I think that contract's still going.
Yeah, Gilbert Arenas got paid more.
Yes, he did.
That's amazing.
That is factually correct.
Although
he played some in Europe, so he actually made a little bit more money than you think, Emeka Okafor this year.
Okay, all right. I don't know if that's going to equal.
I know it doesn't equal Gilbert's number.
$20 million that Gilbert Arenas got. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Good for Gilbert Arenas. I respect that. Well, I think that's
Respect points, bro.
I don't respect some of the things he's done. So, but man, kids today will never know what kind of absolute irrational confidence Gilbert Arenas, and he would make those shots. Like, go back and watch some Gilbert Arenas clips. Dude would just catch on fire. He'd be shooting. Today no big deal to be shooting like 3-4 steps behind the 3-point line, but back then it was unheard of.
Yeah, he was pretty much the only guy in the league doing it. Those crazy 3-pointers that were, well, crazy.
It was wild. He looked like he was going to be the first kind of Steph Curry-esque type player. Not as good, obviously, as Steph Curry by any means, but it's like that's not the craziest thing to say out loud.
No, it's not, man. He was shooting from Steph Curry range back in the day.
Yeah, back in the early aughts. So respect. Didn't you know what? The most surprising award got taken away from Mecca Ofer and went to us for talking about. I did not think we'd be talking about Gilbert Arenas on the show. So congratulations to us. I think that's it, Tyler. Do we have any? I think that was it for our Fantasy Basketball 2018 hashtag basketball presented Watching the Boxes award show. Not too shabby.
It was a good one. Another good one.
Always. So yeah, we will be on an All-Star hiatus. There might be a special episode from Mr. Tyler Watts while I am on vacation. So we want to thank all you guys listeners, everybody who's listening. We do this because all you guys out there, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have feedback for the show, you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on Twitter. You can find me at Watch the Boxes or Tyler at Watsy4444. Tweet at us with you got questions that you want to hear on the show, different segments you want to hear. If you want us to focus more on Dynasty or Keepers or anything like that, we'll happily throw that in the show because, like I said, we do it for all you, and we really want to thank you for listening throughout the all the way through the All-Star break. And we're going to have plenty of content down the stretch heading into really the playoffs in a lot of leagues. And so we hope you guys stick around. And if you really want to help out the show, whatever you're listening to this on, rate us, review us. We'd really appreciate that. That really helps people find the show. Or tell somebody in your league, tell a friend. And if you like playing daily fantasy basketball and you like regular fantasy basketball and you're good at that, chances are you're going to be pretty good at draft.com. I feel like it's a much better daily fantasy site where you actually draft a team instead of make up a team out of random players. Some of them you don't care who will maybe only play 6 minutes that night. If you go to draft.com and sign up and use the promo code BOXES, you will get a free entry into your first game. That's it, Tyler. You got anything else to plug?
No, man, that's it.
Perfect. We will catch you all after the All-Star break. Enjoy your dunk contest.